You are the common denominator in every relationship that has ever broken your heart. And that's a fact. You could keep blaming the narcissist. You can keep blaming the cheater. You can keep blaming the one who ghosted you, the one who lied to you, the one who showed up just long enough to ruin your trust and then disappeared into the wind. But if every one of them somehow ended up in the same destination and, the destination was you, then there's a pattern. And the pattern's not bad luck. The pattern, it's not a curse. The pattern's not men ain't loyal. It's not, women are crazy. It's not because all the good ones are taken. The pattern's something much more harder to face. But by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly why you keep attracting the same kind of toxic person wearing a different face. Why your nervous system is like, running a dating app that you didn't even download, and the one shift that finally breaks the cycle for good. So if you ever sat across from your best friend and said, I don't know how I keep ending up with people like this. Well, then what we're about to talk about might ruffle some feathers at first, but then it's going to be the most freeing thing that you've ever heard in a long time because, I'm not going to talk about your ex. I'm not going to talk about the last person who hurt you. I'm going to talk about the person who keeps signing the lease on these relationships in the first place, which is you. Now, before I get into this, I want to be very clear about something. I'm not a licensed therapist or psychologist. I'm just someone who shares life and relationship advice here on YouTube. And it's based on personal experience and from conversations that I've had with thousands of people who have faced real adversity in their lives and in their relationships. What I share here on YouTube, well, it comes from what I've seen, what I've lived, what I've researched, and what I've learned from the people who trusted me with their stories. Also, I post over on Instagram every single day. I'm talking about daily reels, daily stories, raw advice that most never make it here on YouTube. So go ahead and give me a follow over there. I'm going to leave a link to my IG down in the description below and on the pinned comment as well. But enough about my Instagram. Let's continue with this video. You see, psychologists call this repetition compulsion. Well, it sounds fancy, right? Well, it's not. Understand that your brain is a stubborn little thing, and it does not let go of a wound until that wound gets resolved. Now, according to Dr. Harville Hendricks, which is a clinical psychologist and the creator of Imago Relationships Therapy, if you were, let's say, never chosen by a parent, well, your brain, it will keep finding you partners who did not choose you so you can finally win the round, right? If you grew up walking on eggshells, well, your brain, it will keep finding you partners who keep the floor cracked so you can finally feel safe in the chaos. If love was loud, messy, and on and off in your house, well, your brain, it'll keep finding partners who match that exact frequency so it could finally rewrite the ending. See, the problem is your brain is trying to fix the past with people who are doing nothing but repeating it. Your nervous system, it's not picking what's good for you. It's picking what feels familiar. And until you separate those two things, from your head, well, it'll keep mistaking chaos for chemistry. Now, let me tell you the second piece of the puzzle. Toxic people, they didn't just find you. They got recommended to you by your unhealed self. Now, hear that again. Because every toxic person who ever walked into your life walked through a door that you, on some level, left open. Maybe you didn't slam it shut when they showed you who they were the first time. Maybe, you ignored the gut feeling because they were beautiful or handsome. Maybe you talked yourself out of 3 red flags because they make you laugh once for every, 5 times they make you cry? But the door was open, and a toxic person, well, they have a sixth sense for unlocked doors. Understand that toxic people are not attracted to weakness. They're attracted to availability. They're attracted to a person who abandons themselves the second somebody pays them attention. They sense the door open. They walk right in. You see, your relationship history, it's just a resume of who you were when those people walked in. And the moment that you start to change who you are, well, guess what stops showing up? The same people, because they cannot survive in a home with locked doors. There's a verse in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 that says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Now, this is not just a Bible verse for, Sunday morning. This is also a Bible verse for a Friday or Saturday night when somebody slides into your DMs carrying red flags. Guarding your heart, what it means knowing what gets access and what does not. It means having a standard that does not move every time somebody smiles at you nicely. Because what gets close to your heart, well, it shapes the entire direction of your life. And if you have been, letting the wrong people get close, well, the entire direction of your life has been getting shaped by people who did not even deserve a seat at the table. Now, hear me out on this. The work is not finding the right person. The work is becoming a person that the wrong people cannot reach. Now, let me say that again for the people in the back. The work is not finding the right person. The work is becoming a person that the wrong people cannot reach. Now, there's a massive difference. The reason that you keep meeting the same kind of person is because you're still living in the same house, same locks, same welcome mat, same broken doorbell. If you want a different result, you change the locks, you raise the standard, you stop accepting people based on their potential and start accepting them based on their pattern. Romans chapter 12 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, that's not a metaphor. That is a recipe. You renew the mind renews the choices, and the choices renew the life. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you all a little homework. Make a list of the last 3 people who hurt you. And look at the list. And instead of asking what was wrong with them, ask what was the same about you when you let each one in. That answer right there, that's your pattern. That is the wound that has been doing the choosing. You don't have a bad luck problem. You have a self-respect deficiency. And self-respect, it's not a gift, it's a muscle. And you build it the same way that you build any other muscle, right? Slowly, on purpose, and through reps. So if you're tired of dating the same person in a different body, then stop blaming them. Stop trying to figure out why he did it or why she left. The answer, it's not them. The answer was in you this whole time. So heal that. Build the version of you that the wrong people cannot reach, and watch how fast the right ones start showing up. If you got any value out of this video, then you know what to do. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And, I'll see you on one of these videos right here because, the YouTube algorithms thinks that you get value out of one of these right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on, one of these. Peace.